Vietnam never really had the opportunity to find a breather here, like from the start. I mean, look at this. And it was such a good combination too with having Keyboy on that Guinevere. We saw that, you know, time and time again, landing those spatial migrations. But honestly, when you're going against this type of damage on Albert with this Nolan, what do you do? Like, how do you deal with this? And this, I mean, Fugo, like, this makes sense. Phoveus, you have a Nolan across from you. In theory, it should work really well. You're dealing with those dashes. But then this overextension, I mean, it was already 4-0, and there was already 2,000-3,000 gold ahead. So even with that, again, things already fell apart. And you'll see multiple setups once again from Keyboy on this Guinevere. And even for Lutfi, the final slashes were great. And really, as we go through the highlights, there's only maybe 1 or 2 instances where we see Vietnam actually kind of have an upper hand in the fight. This might be one of them, if I recall. They actually fight back here, and it looks like they're going to be okay. I'm not sure if this is, but it's one of those instances where they fight back in the buff territory, and then they overextend again and keep losing the fight. So it was just tough for them to really kind of deal with here. Vietnam at this point, you know, 6 minutes in, you're so far behind. Man. And it's one of those things where, like, if it's a big snowball down a hill and you try to just stop it with 2 hands, you're probably going to get crushed. And we saw that time and time again, trying to fight this fight, and there wasn't anything they could do. I mean, even if you think about it, even if Vietnam was able to take out, let's say, who's the easiest one? Maybe Sans? Maybe? Yeah,
that's the easiest one.
That would probably be the easiest. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Albert, it didn't matter because just the amount of damage he's pumping out on this Nolan. I haven't seen personally a Nolan this strong or this much of a threat, especially now that we factor in the whole Sky Piercer item. You see just how often they delete these tanky heroes from Vietnam. And maybe part of this, again, is the fact that they just had this kind of lead. I mean, a great final slash. You're going to see Keyboy land a multiple member knock up with the spatial migration towards the end as well. And, you know, look at that. This is automatic death. I mean, Nart had a terrible time on this Edith. He just, oh, there it is. That was beautiful, by the way, from Keyboy. But it was tough because Nart was the person trying to find the setups for them. And on the Edith, he just couldn't, right? I mean, there was no breathing room even for your tanks to move around the map.